Before coins, before cash, before your phone could pay for coffee in 2 seconds, humans had already been paying for things for over 10,000 years. So how do people actually buy and sell stuff with no money at all? The answer starts with one very simple idea: trading what you have for what you need. This system is called bartering. Say you're a farmer with extra wheat and you need a new pair of shoes. You'd have to find a shoemaker who happened to want wheat that exact day. This annoying problem even has a name: the double coincidence of wants. Both people had to want exactly what the other person was offering at exactly the same time. If the shoemaker didn't want wheat that day, the farmer was simply out of luck. So ancient societies needed something smarter, something everyone would accept no matter what. That's when humans invented one of the earliest forms of money: commodity money. Commodity money meant using everyday valuable objects as a stand-in for value itself. One of the most popular choices? Tiny seashells called cowries. Cowrie shells were used as currency across Africa, Asia, and parts of the Pacific for thousands of years. Why shells? Because they were durable, easy to carry, and impossible to fake. A handful of shells could buy food, tools, or even livestock. Meanwhile, in ancient Rome, a different white substance became just as valuable: salt. Salt was so valuable that Roman soldiers were sometimes partly paid in it. In fact, the word salary comes directly from the Latin word for salt, salarium. Without refrigerators, salt was the only way to preserve meat and survive long winters, which made it priceless. Across other cultures, cattle themselves were the currency. In fact, the word capital, as in financial capital, comes from capita, the Latin word for cattle. Owning more cows quite literally meant owning more wealth. Grain, tea bricks, and cacao beans were used the same way in different corners of the world. But commodity money had one big flaw: it wasn't exactly convenient. On the tiny Pacific island of Yap, people used money so big you couldn't even pick it up. These were called rye stones, carved discs of limestone, some as tall as a person. Here's the wild part: people didn't even need to move the stone to spend it. Everyone in the village simply agreed on who owned it, and that agreement was the currency. Sound familiar? It's basically an ancient version of a bank ledger. Other cultures used grain the same way, storing wheat in shared warehouses instead of carrying it around. People would then trade paper or clay slips that represented the grain they owned. This is actually one of the earliest forms of a receipt, and some historians call it the first paper money. But all these systems still had one shared problem: nothing had a fixed, agreed-upon value everywhere. A shell might buy a lot in one village and almost nothing in the next. So around 600 BCE, in the ancient kingdom of Lydia, something changed everything. For the first time, metal discs were stamped with an official symbol guaranteeing their value. These were the very first coins in human history, the direct ancestor of the money in your pocket today. So next time you tap your card to pay, remember, it took shells, cows, and giant stones, salt, to get here.